Hey everyone, XP here with an interesting idea for a video once again. Let me start at the beginning of this tale. I was sitting there on the porcelain goddess, contemplating my life, when a sudden thought entered my mind. Is it possible for V in Cyberpunk 2077 to die before beating the main game? Now, why did I have this thought? Because V is given a few weeks, roughly up to 3, to live after the prologue of the game. Victor is the one who delivers this news to V personally after saving them. At the end of the game, assuming you lived, you were given 6 more months to live, though as some endings consume between 1 to a few of those months before reaching the epilogue's ending, assuming the next expansions continue the story, you will have even less time to live, most likely placing you with only a few months rather than the full 6 you initially received. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if they started the expansion with you already having searched for even more months to no avail, once again leaving you with just a few weeks or even days. But the question is, what would happen if you instead did nothing or just didn't reach the end of the game and your just a few weeks ran out? Would you or V actually die? Would it give you a game over? Is there really any sense of urgency? And better yet, does this mean if you do continue to live, even after living through the game's 24-hour cycle up to the said few weeks or longer, would this actually mean that the game has a major plot hole? So here's the experiment I did to test this theory. Not counting the days or nights that pass that are directly tied to the main missions, I had put 100 hours into Cyberpunk 2077 by the time of completion. Cyberpunk 2077's 24-hour cycle is 3 hours of real-life time. So divide the 100 real-life hours by 3 and you get roughly 33 in-game days. That means a bare minimum of my playthrough, I had spent 33 Cyberpunk 24-hour day cycles before the game was beat. And this is at a minimum day count, as some missions may or may not have caused you to sleep through a night or a day, or just straight up wait time. Now, I really could have restarted Cyberpunk, started a new game, or just loaded up a save and just continued going until I passed the time by just, driving around, waiting time over and over. But the problem here is, I already beat the game. I had already completionisted and did everything in the game that I could, and I already had passed the time that would have, killed you, theoretically, and it just didn't happen. So the mystery is solved, my friends. Can you survive the initial few weeks you have to live without getting a game over in Cyberpunk 2077? The answer to that is without a doubt, hands down, a yes, you can live longer than you're supposed to. A simple fix to this would be changing the in-game time speed to a more realistic speed. Not saying you really need to make it a 1:1 timescale, but judging off my own personal speed on completing the game, my recommended timescale would be something like this. For every real-life hour, the game should pass 4 to 5 hours. This would amount to about 20 to 25 days of time passing in Cyberpunk 2077's world after 100 hours of real-life time, giving you more than enough time to do everything the game has to offer, while also keeping with the story and the fact that by the end of the game, V is stumbling around like a huge-ass mess and feels like shit while barely holding it together. Of course, the time it takes to beat the game varies from person to person, and I tend to beat games faster than others, so maybe a 5-6 in-game hour might be better for the average player. It's not really needed for those who do not completionist the game though and just straight up do the main story, but I do think this would be a nice touch, to cover this plot hole. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the little ride I took you on. This ends my little tale, and I'm glad I was able to share my thoughts with you. Stay safe, and as always, leave a like, you fucking heathens.